want to get into reading and don't know where to start, this video is for you. Let's get into it. First I want to tell you about is 12 Boys Love Before trilogy. There are 3 movies on Netflix. Go watch them if you read the books, because I love them. Laura Jean keeps her love letters in the hat box her mother gave her. They aren't love letters that anyone else wrote for her. Those are the ones she written. One for every boy she's ever loved. 5 in all. When she writes, she can pour out her heart and soul and say all things she would never say in real life. Because her letters are for her eyes only. Until the day her secret letters are mailed and suddenly Laura Jean's love life goes imaginary, out of control. So good. I highly recommend. Now, the Summer I Turned Pretty trilogy, which is also a TV show on Amazon Prime. I highly recommend it too. Each summer begins, Billy leaves her school life behind and escapes to Cousin Beach, the place she has spent every summer of her life. Not only does the beach house mean home away from home, but her favorite people are there. Susanna, her mother's best friend, and her sons, Conrad and Jeremiah. Belly has been chasing Conrad for as long as she can remember, and more than anything, she hopes this summer will be different. Despite distractions from a new guy named Cam and lingering looks from Conrad's brother Jeremiah, Belly's heart belongs to Conrad. Will he offer his to hers? Will this be something that changes everything? Highly recommend. Great if you love triangles. Now we have the rest of the story by Sarah Dessen. I love Sarah Dessen. It's about a girl named Emma Saylor. Her dad just got recently married to this other woman. Her mom died when she was 12, and so they go to the honeymoon, and during the summer she spends the time with her mom's side of the family, and she learns more about her mom and their side of the family, and there's this boy, and she falls in love, and you just need to read to see what happens. I love her so much. And now we have Along for the Ride by Sarah Dessen. Nights have always been Auden's time, her chance to escape everything that's going around her. Then she meets Eli, a fellow insomniac, and he becomes her nocturnal tour guide. Now with endless supply of summer nights between them, almost anything can happen. So this is also a Netflix movie. It is great. I love it. Some people don't, but everyone has their own opinions. So you love it, or you don't have to. It's really personal preference. Now I want to talk about my fantasy, but I'm going to start with my more dystopian and then get into my actual fantasy. So first we have The Hunger Games by the one and only Susanna Collins, which is also 4 movies, and then you have the prequel. In the ruins of a place known as North America lies the nation of Panem, a shining capital surrounded by 12 outlying districts. The capital is harsh, cruel, and keeps districts in line by forcing them all to send one boy and one girl between the ages of 12 and 18 to participate in the annual Hunger Games to fight to the death on TV. 16-year-old Katniss Everdeen regards this as a death sentence, and when she sets forward to take her sister's place in the games, but Katniss has already been close to death before and survived. For her, this second nature without really meaning to. She becomes a contender, but if she wants to win, she will have to start making choices that weigh survival against humanity and against love. So that seems like something you're interested to. Read all 3 books. They're really good. And the movies are amazing. Now we have Shadow and Bone trilogy by Leigh Bardugo. This is also a Netflix series. It's about a girl, Alina Starkov, and she finds out she has these magic powers, and they take her to this place to train her, and a lot of things happen, and just you need to read it, and you need to watch the TV show because it's really good. Now we have The Selection by Kiera Cass. The opportunity to be swept up in a world of glittering gowns and priceless jewels. To live in a palace and compete for a heart of gorgeous Prince Maxton. But for America's singer, being selected is a nightmare. It means turning her back on the secret love with Aspen, who is cast below her, and leaving her home to enter fierce competition for a crown she does not want. Then America meets Prince Maxon, and gradually she begins to realize that the life she always dreamed of may not compare to the future, or the never imagined. So that sounds like something you like. How to recommend? It's a trilogy, but there are like 2 more books that you can read if you want to. Now we have Once Upon a Broken Heart by Stephanie Garber. I love her. Her writing's amazing. For as long as she can remember, Evangeline Fox has believed in true love and happy endings until she learns that the love of her life will marry another. Desperate to stop the wedding and to heal her wounded heart, Evangeline strikes a deal with a charismatic but wicked Prince of Hearts in exchange for his help. He asks for 3 kisses to be given at the time and place of his choosing. But after Evangeline's first promised kiss, she learns that bargaining with a mortal is a dangerous game, and that Prince of Hearts wants more from her than she plead. He has plans for Evangeline, plans that will either end in greatly happily ever after or the most exotic tragedy. So that's something you want. This is also a trilogy. I love her. Her writing is so easy. The world building is great for beginners. They're very lyrical if you love music. Now I want to get into our mystery and thrillers because I like those too. So first I want to talk about is a book I actually don't have with me because I gave it to a friend to read. It is A Good Girl's Guide to Murder by Holly Jackson. It's about a girl named Pippa Fitzmoby, and she has to do this capstone project, and she decides to make a podcast about a murder that happened a couple years ago, and she starts investigating it and tries to find who actually did the crime. And there's romance pursues, and it actually is becoming a TV show, and it's being released really soon. And I'm so excited because its castings are incredible, and I'm so excited. So definitely read that if that's something that sounds interesting to you. Now I have The Naturals by Jennifer Lynn Barnes. If you like Criminal Minds, this is a series for you. 17-year-old Cassia Hobbs is a natural at reading people, piecing together the tiniest details. She can tell you who you are and what you want, but it's not a skill that she ever taken seriously. That is until the FBI become knocking on her door. They begun a classified program that uses exceptional teenagers to crack infamous cold cases, and they need Cassie. What Cassie doesn't realize is that the more at risk than a few unsolved homicides, especially when she's sent to live with a group of teens whose gifts are unusual as her own. Soon it becomes clear that no one in the Naturals program is what they seem, and when a new killer strikes, danger looms closely. Caught in a lethal game of cat and mouse with the killer, the Naturals are going to have to use all their gifts to survive. So you love Criminal Minds, this is a series for you. There's love triangle. Her chapters are very short and easy to read. It is great. I love her. Now we have another book by her, The Inheritance Games. Avery Grahams has planned for a better future, survive high school, win a scholarship, and get out. But her luck changes in an instant when billionaire Tobias Hawthorne dies and leaves her virtually his entire fortune. The only catch: Avery must move into his sprawling mansion full of secret passageways, riddles, and codes. Unfortunately for Avery, the Hawthorne house is occupied by the family that was just disinherited. This includes the 4 Hawthorne grandsons, dangerous, majestic boys who grew up with every expectation that one day they would inherit billions. The heir apparent Grayson is convinced that Avery is a con woman and he's determined to take her down. But his brother Jameson views her as their grandfather's last hurrah, and twisted riddle and puzzles to be solved. Caught in the world of wealth and privilege, with dangers around every turn, Avery will have to play the game herself just to survive. So if that's something like you'll be interested in, definitely read this. It's really easy. The chapters are short too. If you like Knives Out, this has been compared to that a lot. You really need to read all 3 books because when you read all 3, everything lines up, and it's really good. I love her. Now we have One of Us is Lying by Carrie McKay Manis. This is also a Peacock original TV show. Play close attention and you might solve this. On Monday afternoon, 5 students at Bayview High walk into detention. Bronwyn the Brains is yell-bound and never breaks a rule. Addie the Beauty is perfect homecoming princess. Nate the criminal is already on probation for dealing. Cooper the athlete is the all-star basketball pitcher. And Simon the outcast is the creator of Bayview's most notorious gossip app. Only Simon ever makes it out of the classroom. Before the end of detention, Simon's dead, and according to the investigators, his death was not an accident. On Monday, he died, but on Tuesday, he'll be planned to post juicy reveals about all 4 of his high-profile classmates, which makes all 4 of them expected in his murder. Or are they just the perfect for a killer who's still on the loose? Everyone has secrets, right? What really matters is how far you could go to protect them. So, if this seems like something you're into, I really love a series. It's technically a trilogy, but you can really read this as a standalone because the other 2, one of the main character's sisters and her friends, and you see a little bit of the main original characters, but not as much. Now I want to get into some fiction. First one I have The Words in Deep Blue by Kathy Crawley. Years ago, Rachel had a crush on Henry Jones. The day before she moved away, she tucked a love letter into his favorite books in his family's bookshop. She waited, but Henry never came. Now Rachel has returned to the city, to the bookshop, to work alongside the boys she'd rather not see, if at all possible, for the rest of her life. But Rachel needs the distraction and the escape. Her brother drowned 8 months ago, and she can't feel anything anymore, and she can't see her future. Henry's future isn't looking too promising either. His girlfriend dumped him, the bookstore is slipping away, and his family is breaking apart. As Henry and Rachel work aside, surrounded by books, watching love stories unfold, exchanging letters between the pages, they find hope in each other, because life may be uncontrollable, even unbearable sometimes, but it's impossible that the words in love and the second chance are enough. So that seems like that's something you like. I really love this book. It is so great. I was giggling. I was like, I really love that book. Now the last book I want to talk about is The Words We Keep by Erin Stewart. Now she's only written like one other book that was released, but I want to read more of hers. But essentially this book is about a girl named Lily, and her sister gets sent to a mental hospital, and they found out that she struggles with bipolar disorder. And when she leaves, Lily's mental health deravels, and she ends up she meets this boy, Micah Mendez, who's in the hospital with his sister. They know each other. They have to end up doing a school project together, and they start working together, and things get a little, things happen, when 2 people work close together, anything can happen. And it's just, if you love poetry and you want a good mental health rep, this would be a good book. But if you're not in the mental headspace, I would not read this right now, because parts of this book is really sad. But it's a really good book. So that's something you're interested in. Definitely read it. I hope you found some books that you may want to read to help you get into reading if that's something you want to do. Thank you for watching. Comment, like, subscribe, and keep on reading. Have a great day.